When this Filipino kid sang Elvis, everyone lost it loudly, crying face microphone unreal talent. It was one of those ordinary afternoons at the America's Got Talent auditions, the kind where the crowd was restless, the judges were tired, and no one expected a miracle. The stage lights glowed softly as a small boy, no older than 12, walked out holding a microphone that seemed almost too big for his hands. His name was Miguel Santos, a shy Filipino kid wearing a second-hand leather jacket, his black hair slicked back like he'd stepped out of another era. He smiled nervously, eyes darting toward the massive audience. Simon Cowell leaned forward. "What's your name, little man?" "Miguel," he stammered softly. "I'm from the Philippines." The crowd clapped politely. Miguel nodded, clutching the mic tighter. "And what are you going to sing for us today?" Simon asked. Miguel swallowed hard. "Elvis Presley. Can't help falling in love." A murmur rippled through the audience. Another kid singing Elvis? They'd seen this before, cute, maybe, but forgettable. But the moment the music started, everything changed. Miguel closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and when he sang the first line, "Wise men say," the entire arena went still. His voice wasn't that of a child. It was hauntingly rich, soulful, mature, a voice that carried the ache of love and the warmth of nostalgia. It was as if Elvis himself had been reborn through this small Filipino boy. Gasps spread across the audience. One woman in the front row covered her mouth, tears forming in her eyes. Simon's eyebrows shot up, his jaw tightening in disbelief. By the time Miguel reached the chorus, the crowd was on their feet, clapping along, lost in a moment that felt suspended in time. But behind that golden voice was a story no one knew. Miguel had grown up in a tiny fishing village in Cebu. His father, once a guitarist, had fallen ill years ago, leaving Miguel and his mother to sell street food by the pier to survive. The old radio they used while cooking was Miguel's first teacher. The sound of Elvis crackling through static became his lullaby. Every night, he'd mimic that deep, soothing tone, dreaming of singing on a real stage one day, not just the dusty streets of home. When his father's condition worsened, Miguel promised, "I'll sing for the world one day, Papa. You'll hear me, no matter where you are." That promise carried him all the way to that AGT stage. As the final note echoed, "Take my whole life too," the crowd erupted. Every single person was on their feet. Simon's eyes glistened. "That," he said quietly into the mic, "was magic. Pure magic." Miguel smiled, wiping a tear from his cheek. But as the applause thundered, he noticed an old man sitting at the side of the stage, the janitor who had helped him earlier when he dropped his guitar backstage. Miguel had told him he was scared, that maybe people would laugh at him for singing an old song. The janitor had smiled kindly and said, "Kid, real music never dies. If it's from your heart, they'll feel it." Miguel looked at him now, lifted the mic again, and said, "This song was for my papa, and for anyone who's ever believed in me, even when I didn't." The audience went silent again. Simon leaned forward, visibly moved. "Miguel," he said softly, "that's not just talent. That's soul." Then, with a grin breaking through, he slammed the golden buzzer. Gold confetti rained from above as Miguel covered his face, overwhelmed with emotion. The janitor, standing quietly at the edge, smiled and clapped slowly, tears streaming down his face too. Later, backstage, producers and cameras crowded around Miguel. But he pushed past them, searching for the janitor. He finally found him near the door, sweeping up the leftover confetti. Miguel ran to him, holding the golden confetti in his hands. "Sir," he said breathlessly, "this is for you. You told me to sing from my heart. I couldn't have done it without you." The man chuckled, shaking his head. "No, kid. You did that all on your own." Miguel hugged him anyway, the small boy and the old man framed in that beautiful, fleeting moment of gratitude, two strangers bound by kindness. When the episode aired weeks later, millions watched in awe. Social media exploded. The Filipino Elvis, they called him. But for Miguel, it wasn't about fame. It was about keeping a promise, to his father, to his dream, and to every person who had ever felt small but dared to stand tall anyway. Months later, Miguel's father watched the clip from his hospital bed in Cebu, tears streaming down his cheeks. "That's my boy," he whispered. And somewhere in the background, the radio played softly, Elvis singing the same song Miguel had just shared with the world. That night, a boy from a small island reminded millions that greatness doesn't come from where you start, it comes from the heart you carry. Because when Miguel sang Elvis, the world didn't just hear a song. They felt hope.